I'm really excited to introduce our gender consultants for the project, Chantal Barreau and also Jessica Espinoza, who you already heard from. They both played a really key role. And so I'm eager to discuss how the playbook fits into the larger context of the gender lens investing community. Jessica and Chantal, are you both there? We've heard a little bit from Jessica, so I wanted to start, Chantal, by asking you to just share a few words about yourself.
Thanks so much, Laura, and thanks so much for inviting us to join this brilliant session with you all. Yeah, I'm Chantal Barreau. I'm the founder and director of Co-Sustain Consulting. We're a consulting company based here in the UK, and we work with investors, fund managers, companies, and other organizations on gender smart investing, and also gender and climate change and the nexus of gender and climate.
Awesome, wonderful. So let's jump right into it. First of all, this question is for Jessica. Jessica, how does a project like this fit into the larger gender lens investment movement?
Thank you, Laura. So I would say the USP of the playbook has always been that it provides a very practical set of tools for both fund managers and SMEs. So it's not just the guidance alone, but really this practical set of steps. So this is what you should be doing, and this is how. And here are the templates that you can take right off the shelf and adapt to your organization. Also, Renew is, I think, a really amazing story of leading by example. As a fund manager, you've been walking the talk and are really building out the community by working with SMEs directly to implement these gender smart practices. And for me, Renew is really the leaders in the industry showing us the way, and that in a very practical way.
Thank you, Jessica. That's really kind. And as Matt said before, and then our internet issues today, the products, we can feel a little bit vulnerable about putting ourselves out there. So that's really kind of you to say. Now turning to Chantal for a minute. Chantal, maybe you could help us by answering, why did you want to be a part of this project in particular, and what has kind of come out of it for you?
Yeah, thanks so much, Laura. I will say a shout out to Suzanne Beagle for connecting us in the first place. I think she knew it's probably going to be a good match. Look, we were so excited because, the point about practicality has been mentioned a few times. And we have been hearing for quite a long time now in the community this real need for those practical tools. We have a wealth of knowledge, we have many reports, guidance notes, and they're all really useful. But there was this big gap, and you sort of came along and said, actually, we see this big gap and we really want to do something about it. So that was really exciting to actually get our sort of hands dirty, roll our sleeves up, and then help you develop this practical toolkit. And I also remember, in our sort of very first meeting, we had this conversation with Matt, who was sort of outlining the philosophy behind this. And I think he was saying, look, it has to work for us. So the proof is in the pudding, because it has to apply to us as a fund manager, and it has to also work for our SME companies. And again, I just love that philosophy. And finally, I would say the other thing that really came out for us was the level of ambition. And I know you were really keen to say, we just want to push the envelope here. We know what good looks like, but we want to go even beyond that. And I think that for us was just really exciting to keep pushing the boat out.
Awesome. Yeah, at Renew, we really do care about adding value, and of course using taxpayer dollars from our partners well. And so, yeah, we are excited to put this out into the world and see how it can hopefully help fund managers and entrepreneurs on the continent. So appreciate that. Another question for you. What was your approach to reviewing and improving the playbook?
Definitely. So I think on a practical level, you were already developing this sort of skeleton, the framework, and the content, and already trying to apply the sort of gender knowledge that you already had. And then we had this very sort of practical back and forth. And, you know, Jessica and I would sort of look at your drafts, have a brainstorm amongst us, and then sort of be able to sort of share feedback with you in real time. And I think what was really great was that, you know, we really had to dig deep into this sort of knowledge that we had built up of working in the field. And as you saw on that toolkit there, it really is from start to finish, you know, from the policy level to financial management to marketing and sales and products and services. And so we had to think at each stage of that journey, okay, how can we make this gender smart? What are the existing tools and resources? What information can we really bring here? And so we spent a lot of time really just brainstorming and really delving deep into this sort of body of knowledge that we had developed. And I think what was really great was to be able to weave that with you at each step of the journey. And it's really important, I think, to say that this wasn't just a add-on or a bolt-on optional module. It really was mainstreaming it at, you know, in each of the documents and each of the templates. And I think that's really speaks again to the philosophy, you know, right at the very beginning.
Awesome. Yeah, we often say at Renew that the impact side matters very little if the company isn't growing. So hopefully we dug a lot deeper, and Matt went through a little of that earlier, but into trying to integrate it into every kind of building block of a business. And so it's a step forward, hopefully, in that direction. I have one more question for you, Chantal. What were some of the most glaring gaps that you uncovered early on in your work, and how are they rectified? I know there were some big ones. We all have interesting biases and so on. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, you know, you already brought forward a body of knowledge, and so I think we were able to help you go much deeper into some of the issues. I mean, maybe one example is that, you know, there's a great session on unconscious bias. And I think, you know, when we were looking at the slides that came through, we did notice that many of the images that were used were of sort of male CEOs and male leadership. So that was, I think, something that we immediately pointed out and said it's probably not very gender smart, you know, to sort of have a predominantly sort of imagery of male-led senior leadership. And so those kinds of things, I think, we were able to pick up and hopefully sort of draw out to you. But I will say you were always so receptive of all of our feedback and comments, big or small. So really appreciated that openness.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always, you know, I think we all need, even if we really care about things, we all need copy editors to help identify the biases and so on. So we all need people outside of what we're creating to help us. And so I think it was a wonderful partnership that we had throughout the project. I have a question now for you, Jessica. As you think about it, what are some of the exciting innovations that you think are coming out of this project that you hope kind of flow into other things in the space, in the gender lens investing space?
I love the remark that Chantal just made. It was really such a fun journey working on this with you. And to your question, you know, for me, this is really the practical stuff that people have been craving for. And I see this as a major milestone, not only for Renew and SMEs in Renew's network, but really globally for fund managers and SMEs to get inspired. And this playbook shows us how to become gender smart in operations. So as Chantal mentioned, really in, you know, it's not an add-on, it's weaved across everything from business leadership to sales and marketing and everything, and really what that practically looks like. And so the whole playbook is provides just a lot of value, but also it is designed in a manner that you can take it in bits and pieces, right? Mm-hmm. So you're kind of extracting exactly the tools, the templates, the trainings that you may need in a particular moment that can be easily implemented. What we've been seeing in the broader field, and Matt alluded to that a little bit earlier on, is that it can become so overwhelming for folks to kind of shy away from, you know, PDF guides or some of the more heavy content because they don't really know where to get started or how to find particularly the kind of information and tools that they are seeking. And so the SG2X playbook provides the kind of solution to fix that. And that's also was intentionally how we designed it. It also presents an exciting opportunity for knowledge exchange And that's something that in the 2X Collaborative is particularly important for us. So we are very keen to share best practice and learn from each other. And we're eager to continue gathering further practical input from all of you here in the audience and practitioners that are joining us today. So it's also really an iterative and a living toolkit where we are dedicated to constantly improving it, get feedback from practitioners, and throughout the process and practice.
Awesome. Yeah, I think just as practitioners, there's so much great stuff out there, and some of it, a lot of it, we've tried to reference throughout this piece, and of course, give credit to all the people who've created wonderful gender lens investing content and tools ahead of us. But like as practitioners, sometimes we have gotten overwhelmed. So we wanted to make this as accessible as possible. I think I'm interested too in just hearing feedback from people through the website, or shoot us a note. Can people actually find it, or do we need to continue to work on our search function and our keywords around what those tools are so people can really plug and play what they need? So we'll see as we move forward how we can continue to improve that. Chantal, I have a question for you. Where do you think we can continue to innovate and improve this product as we look to the future?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a really important question. I think it is such a powerhouse of a toolkit, and there's so much in there and so much hard work has gone into it. I mean, I'd love to see some kind of a knowledge exchange or a forum, even at an informal level, so people can exchange their stories of how they've been using the toolkit, in what way, so that other users can really learn from that experience. And I think, there's the feedback button that Mariah pointed to earlier, but perhaps there's also an opportunity to facilitate some of that cross-learning a little bit more. And I think it would also be really fascinating to hear about the different experiences across sectors as well. And maybe does that make, a bit of a difference when you look at the SME companies? Just simple things like the checklist and the guidance on running gender smart meetings. How have people used that in their various meetings? What have they found? What has come up for them? What has surprised them? I think those little nuggets of stories would be really valuable. And then I think that also probably points to something that I think we really are seeing, is that this level of sophistication in the sector, and where people are really progressing along their journeys. And so really hearing about those really practical examples, I think really, again, adds to, I think, where people are moving and getting increasingly sophisticated and moving much deeper into gender mainstreaming throughout their businesses.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely one of my vision as we look to the future with this content, to gather a few fund managers and who can maybe commit to implementing at least a percentage of this, and then try to measure and make improvements. So we'll see what that looks like in the future. Jessica, my question for you was, how do you see this playing into the larger gender lens investment movement as we look to the future? What's coming?
Thinking about the future and the way forward, we're really eager to see this playbook adopted by all of you in the audience, and really hope that this will be known as widely as humanly possible. It's a huge value add to the global community, and importantly, it's free. It's a public good, which I think is really amazing. And the goal, as we stated at the beginning, is not to be duplicative, but really to continuously add value to the field. It's a great tool for both parties, so for fund managers and directly for SMEs. And it's a complete guide from start to finish. So we hope you will use it, adopt the practices, and provide feedback on how we can make it better, and really help us build on it. And yeah, as Chantal and Laura mentioned, and as I also previously shared, the 2X Collaborative is really all about learning and improving together. And so we're excited to continue working with Renew as one of our very active members on this toolkit and beyond.
Awesome. Good. Well, thank you, Jessica. And thank you, Chantal, for all of your incredible support and just your sharing your thoughts with us today. And we really look forward to working with you guys on this and other things in the future.